It's always a natural thing to compare oneself with someone else. Maybe they bought the same suit or dress as you did, and you're trying to see, well, do you look better or not? We compare what we drive, we compare where we live, we compare so many things in our lives with others around us. We've been looking at that as a possible area of danger, and certainly the impact it has when we allow comparison to take control of our lives. We're going to be looking once again at 1 Samuel chapter 8. I'm so glad you've had the time to join me. My name is Reverend Kwame Rubadiri, and you're watching CITAM Church Online. From verse 11 to verse 18 of chapter 8 of 1 Samuel, Samuel begins to warn the people of Israel of the rights and the claims that a king will have over their lives. The people of the entire nation have insisted that they want a king. They do not want God to be their king. They don't want anyone who's been appointed as a judge like Samuel to be judge over their lives. They want to have a king just like the other nations. They've compared themselves, and as far as they're concerned, they want to see the benefits of a king over their lives, despite the claims and the rights that Samuel warns them would be for them to face. In verse 11, he says that the king who would reign over you will claim as his rights. He will take your sons, make them serve with his chariots and horses, and they will run in front of his chariots. He then goes on to say in verse 13 that he will take your daughters to be perfumers and cooks and bakers. And then in verse 14, he says that he will take your fields and vineyards, olive groves, and give them to his attendants. Verse 15, he'll take 1/10 of your grain and of your vintage and give it to his officials and attendants. The king that will take over control over the nation will take over productivity, areas of produce. He'll take over the economy, basically, not just your children, not just the control of those who are in your family. He will control your economy to the benefit of himself and those who are closest to him, something that we in Africa are very, very familiar with because we've commonly seen that to be the practice. The danger of not allowing God to remain as king in our lives and simply want our lives to follow the patterns of others that we compare ourselves to, other nations, other systems, other governments, is that they will take from us rather than give to us or bless us in any particular way. This has been the experience of humankind throughout the centuries, where they have rejected the lordship and the control and the influence of God over our lives. When Jesus said that the kingdom of God is near, he was talking about the return or the restoration of God's kingdom authority and leadership authority over our lives for our benefit. Jesus told many stories about what it's like to live in the kingdom of God and under the kingship and rulership of God, something that the nation of Israel had lost and forgotten over the years. You and I will often find that if we allow idols or we allow practices that are not in keeping with biblical teaching to take over into our lives, it takes our most productive years. It takes control of our most productive time because we are not only self-centered and selfish, we allow those things to take control not only of our families and our relationships, but of the money that we earn, of the productivity that we are open to and is available to us. All those things become lost because they come under the control of another king. This is something that you and I need to take seriously because in the 18th verse of Samuel's warning to the nation of Israel, he says that when the day comes, you will cry out for relief. Relief because this king has become oppressive. This new system that you have submitted yourself to has become oppressive into your life. He goes on to say, you will cry out for relief from the king that you have chosen, but the Lord will not answer you in that day. In other words, God is going to allow you to learn all the lessons, go through all the pain of rejecting him and not allowing him to be the king over your life and over all the things that he's entrusted to you. And when you cry out to him, he won't answer, because he wants to make sure you learn the lessons of never again allowing another king to take his place in your life. God bless you.